Denny Hamlin entered Sonoma 8 points behind Tyler Reddick and left with the lead, but Hamlin did not win. He did not even finish inside the top 20. His car spun, his nose was damaged, and his race looked finished. Yet one strange problem ruined Reddick's day and erased a lead that once looked safe. So how did Hamlin shock NASCAR and steal the points lead? Tyler Reddick had controlled the 2026 season from the very first race. He won the Daytona 500, then kept piling up wins and points. After 9 races, he already had 5 victories. By the time NASCAR left Watkins Glen in May, Reddick's lead over Hamlin had grown to 129 points. That was not a small gap. It looked like a wall. Reddick had led the Cup standings after every race of the season. He had speed on ovals, road courses, and short tracks. Even when he did not win, he usually scored enough points to protect the lead. But Hamlin never stopped cutting into it. Over the next 6 races, the number 11 team found another level. Hamlin won 3 races in a row for the first time in his Cup career. Reddick then lost more ground after a late flat tire at Naval Base Coronado. When the teams reached Sonoma, the huge 129-point gap had fallen to only 8. That set up the real story of the day. Hamlin did not need to win Sonoma. He only needed to beat Reddick by 9 points. At a track where Reddick had shown strong speed in the past, that still looked hard. Then the number 45 started sending warning signs. Reddick began the race from 11th, only 2 spots behind Hamlin. But during the first stage, his car became harder to drive. The steering did not feel right. At times, the power steering worked. At other times, it did not. That is a huge problem at Sonoma. The track has 11 turns, heavy braking zones, and fast changes of direction. A driver must fight the steering wheel for more than 200 miles. Without steady power steering, the car becomes slow, hard to place, and very tiring to drive. Reddick fell to 30th by the end of Stage 1. His team now faced a painful choice. They could leave him on track with a car that was far off the pace, or bring him to pit road and try to find the problem. They chose to work on the car. The crew lifted the hood and searched for the issue. Reddick sat on pit road as the field kept circling the track. 1 lap became 2, then 3. By the time the number 45 returned, he had lost 6 full laps. At that moment, his points lead was in serious danger. Reddick did manage to gain 2 laps back later in the race. He also earned the fastest lap bonus. But Sonoma had very little race-ending trouble for the rest of the field. There were not enough damaged cars or broken engines for him to climb through the results. He finished 36th, last in the field, 4 laps behind the leaders, and the bad news did not stop there. Reddick entered Sonoma as the number 1 seed in NASCAR's in-season challenge. His first-round opponent was Alex Bowman, the 32nd and final seed. On paper, it was the biggest mismatch in the bracket, but a one-race matchup does not care about season-long form. Bowman stayed clean, finished 10th, and knocked out the top seed. Reddick lost the championship lead and his chance at the $1 million prize on the same afternoon. That alone would have made Sonoma a disaster. But Hamlin still had to finish the job. For much of the first half, the number 11 was in a good position. Hamlin ran near the front and spent much of the opening 2 stages inside the top 6. His team planned to give up some stage points and use pit timing to gain track position for the final run. The plan gave Hamlin a chance to take control, then everything went wrong on lap 64. The field packed together on a restart near turn 7. Carson Hocevar was hit from behind in the traffic and made contact with Hamlin. The number 11 spun into the dirt and dropped toward the rear. The spin was bad, but the damage was worse. The front splitter took a hit that took grip away from the nose of the car. Once Hamlin returned to traffic, he could not turn or attack the corners the way he had earlier. His chance at a top 5 finish was gone. And here is the part that made the title story so strange. Hamlin was not racing for a win anymore. He was not even racing for a strong result. He was fighting for every single car he could pass. One position could decide whether Reddick kept the lead. Hamlin stayed in the race and began moving forward. He gained 9 positions after the spin and finally finished 26th. It looked like a poor result for a driver who had shown top 10 speed, but Reddick's last-place finish changed the value of every point. Hamlin scored 11 points at Sonoma. Reddick scored only 2. That created a 9-point swing. Reddick entered the race 8 points ahead. Hamlin left 1 point ahead. That is how Denny Hamlin shocked NASCAR and stole Tyler Reddick's points lead without winning the race. But there was one more close call hiding inside Hamlin's day. His in-season challenge opponent was Ty Dillon, the same driver who knocked him out in the opening round 1 year earlier. After Hamlin's spin, Dillon had a real chance to do it again. Then Dillon also developed a power steering problem. With 11 laps left, Hamlin passed him and moved ahead in their matchup. Dillon finished 35th, while Hamlin's 26th place result was enough to keep the number 11 alive in the tournament. So Hamlin left Sonoma with 2 wins that did not look like wins. He took the points lead, and he advanced in the $1 million bracket. Yet he was not smiling. Hamlin knew his race should have been much better. Before the contact, the number 11 had enough speed to fight near the front. After the race, Hamlin focused on the lost result, not the new points position. His team had spent hours preparing for Sonoma, only to have its plan broken in one crowded corner. That reaction matters. Remember how this started. Reddick arrived with the lead, the tournament seat, and one of the fastest cars of the year. Hamlin arrived needing a gain. By the finish, Reddick had lost prizes, while Hamlin survived a spin and moved ahead. Sonoma did not reward perfection. It rewarded the driver who refused to let a bad race become a total loss. Hamlin did not act like the title fight was over. He understood that the 1-point lead could disappear as fast as Reddick's 8-point lead had disappeared. Sonoma proved that one part failure, one flat tire, or one restart crash can change months of work. And while Hamlin and Reddick were fighting through trouble, Shane Van Gisbergen was putting on another road course show. Van Gisbergen started 6th and led 74 of the 110 laps. He used a stage flip strategy, pitting before the stage endings to improve his position later in the race. The choice worked, but the final laps became much closer than expected. Chase Briscoe kept closing. Van Gisbergen's car became harder to handle over the final 27 laps. Briscoe cut the gap and reached the last lap hairpin only 1 foot behind the number 97. But Briscoe could not get close enough to make a clean move. Van Gisbergen won by 0.357 seconds. It was his 8th Cup victory in only 68 starts, and all 8 wins have come on road courses. That tied him with Tony Stewart for 2nd on NASCAR's all-time road course wins list, one behind Jeff Gordon. He also swept the weekend after winning Saturday's race. Yet even that historic performance did not change the championship standings as much as the fight between 2 drivers who finished 26th and 36th. That is the real lesson from Sonoma. The winner took the trophy, but the title fight changed far behind him.